Hello everyone. Today my name is Tubagus Shahtra Ozan. I'm joined with Delonix, Rehan, and Russell today to present about cybersecurity in the Middle East. Now, much of the nation states within the Middle Eastern region had only limited concerted effort in dealing with the potential threat of cyber attacks, and mainly limited on recovery from such attacks, as opposed to attack prevention. This resulted in a less integrative approach in dealing with cyber threats. Our research questions today are: what are the current levels of cyber awareness among citizens and the intellectual class in the Middle East? What are some of the most common types of cyber attacks in the Middle East? What measures can be taken in protecting these vulnerabilities against cyber attacks? And lastly, what are the most efficient strategies in further improving cybersecurity within the region?
Abstract. The current status of cybersecurity within the Middle East could be stated as challenging to say the least through its rapid digitization and interconnectivity, which make it susceptible to various cyber threats. This further worsened with the lack of awareness within the cyberspace itself, which make it more susceptible towards such attacks. In addressing such issues, it is crucial to promote cybersecurity that encompasses individual, national, and even international, and the need for effective cybersecurity legislation, education, and better defense against cyber attacks. Most of the attacks predominantly came from other nations with more developed cyber capabilities, such as both Iran and Israel. Theoretical framework. Constructivism would be the most appropriate theoretical framework in not just analyzing the capabilities of cybersecurity within the Middle East, but also in further knowing the structural context or foundation of the Middle Eastern cyber institution. Constructivism entails that the international relation or the world geopolitics as we know it are wholly socially construct, which means that the intersubjectivity between certain actors will be one such primary reason of the current situation of the world as we know it within the context of Middle East. It would be appropriate in using such framework due to the perceived cultural background within the region itself. And next, research methods. Through the qualitative method, it could encompass much more data in analyzing the cybersecurity of the Middle East itself. Not just analyzing the current state of cybersecurity within the Middle East itself, but also in further analyzing the context integrated within the cybersecurity structure itself, such as cultural background, the bureaucratic decision making, the citizen awareness level, and etc. This corresponds to the constructivism theoretical framework which we use in analyzing the cybersecurity of Middle East region itself.
Literature review. These are the literature review that we are currently using behind the analysis of the Middle East cybersecurity framework. These are cybersecurity challenges in the Middle East. Abul Enin works discuss the many challenges faced by the Middle East within its cybersecurity infrastructure within the region and emphasize on the importance of the interconnectivity within the region itself, and stresses the need for more cyber-related legislation, ICT education, and better defenses against cyber-related attacks. Exploring cybersecurity ecosystem in the Middle East towards an SME recommender system. This work discusses the many challenges within the cyberspace that are facing the small and medium enterprises within the region, and a very less effective cybersecurity strategy that is employed within the region itself. Cybersecurity policy framework in Saudi Arabia. This paper discusses an overview regarding the cybersecurity framework within the nation of Saudi Arabia itself and stresses for a very much needed comprehensive overhaul of the cybersecurity framework itself in order to ensure protection for all of its infrastructure within existing infrastructure or even future ones. A study of cybersecurity awareness in educational environment in the Middle East. Within this work entails an awareness of cyberspace and the security itself within every facade of lives in the Middle East, whether if it's the ordinary citizens or the intellectual class itself, in order to avoid further cyber attacks within the region. The Iranian cyber threat, the institution and practice of Iran's cyber strategy. This paper gives an overview on the strategy Iran employed within its cyber division and the many institutions it operated in projecting its own cyber capabilities. The paper also explained the many destructive capabilities that Iran uses in conducting its own cyber attacks against its many enemies. Israeli cyberspace, a conceptual framework, inherent challenges, and normative recommendations. This paper provides an overview of Israel's capabilities regarding its own cyber division and the many challenges and difficulties within its regulatory framework to provide a more appropriate recommendations for further efficient cybersecurity measures of the country's own cyber capabilities. Analysis of findings. With the ever-changing landscape of the world, much of the government and other non-state actors are actively adopting more connected digitizations, with it ever increasing by the years, with many of the nations within the region also allocating huge percentages of their GDP in improving their cybersecurity in the region. In further addressing such issues, there's a need for the promotion of a sense of competency in building cyber-related infrastructures, such as universities through the adoption of university study programs and developing more cohesive strategies. Within the economic sector, there's also a need for emphasis on cybersecurity for both small and medium enterprises within the region due to experiencing a limited amount of resources and sustainable or effective cybersecurity strategies for the needs of such commerce. Addressing such problems through the recommender of the system in helping both small and medium businesses for more appropriate and fitting security solutions, there's also a need for a cyber awareness within the region in order for a much stronger regulations in the usage of cyber technologies through the implementation of cybersecurity related subjects within the education programs for schools. Such example is the Saudi Arabia, with the need for a comprehensive cybersecurity network in order to tackle foreign cyber attacks within its own infrastructure. Case study. The case study we use is both the case of the Iran and Israel. Within the matter of cybersecurity in the Middle East, both Israel and Iran position themselves as much more advanced in their cyber capabilities in comparison to the other neighboring countries. Both nations have been secretly waging an undisclosed war in cyberspace, with constant attacks conducted by both countries, which has been happening for a few years. This could further be corroborated to the Israeli-Hamas war, which has been happening for a few months already. This conflict saw the utilization of the Iranian cyber division with working in conjunction with its paramilitary allies in targeting much of Israeli infrastructures.
Well, I guess I do a list of job for these presentations. So the Middle East region, as the Russell said, very comprehensive approach in addressing the various threats and challenges to the encounters within the very complex cybersecurity landscape and the Middle East itself, and might also be international world itself. Moreover, the need for an awareness, prioritizations, education, and the legislations are very necessary in ensuring the security is own critical and the infrastructure in protecting both of its economic and strategic infrastructures. I think that's being said for this presentation. And uh, would you like to add some information or no?
Okay, so far this is all for our presentations. Thank you.